It's the year 1989 and you just turned 13 years old. The school dance is coming up soon, homework is piling up, your parents are pressuring you to quit playing video games and focus more on your future. Life's tough for a teen these days, and the only thing keeping you from losing it are your awesome friends. That and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, life's about to take a wild turn as strange and unexplainable things begin to arise in your town. It's up to you and your friends to go out and discover the reason these things are happening and possibly learn a few life lessons along the way. Let's go back to being a kid again and join me as we go over how to create your very own character for Tales from the Loop on Alchemy. When you hop into a game of Tales from the Loop on Alchemy, you'll be prompted to create your character. Like in many of our systems, this screen will be your jump-off point that'll lead to generating a character sheet for you to fill out. If you've got a name in mind, you can toss it into this first field. But if you select your type first, you'll be given different sets of pre-generated names to either choose from or randomize if you'd like. Speaking of your character type, you can choose from this drop-down what kind of kid you'd like to be. Imagine these as somewhat stereotypical to their name in what they may be good at while traversing the world. By selecting different types, you can read a short description giving you a better idea of what you might be jumping into. And keep note of your 3 key skills here. This will be important when we go to distribute our skill points later. I'm gonna go with the computer geek for this tutorial. The last thing on this page is the age field. Pick an age between 10 and 15. Age will determine 2 things. Whatever age you choose, that's how many attribute points you'll be able to distribute once we get to the character sheet. The other thing age affects is the amount of luck points your character will have. The younger you are, the more points you'll have, and the older, the less. If you're not sure what luck is in this game or how to use it, once you're done here, go check out our other video on the core mechanics for Tales from the Loop. Click the white check mark at the bottom, and we can move on to filling out the character sheet. Once on the main screen, click the central avatar button and toggle the edit switch at the top left of the pop-up. You can set your token size to 1 by 1 immediately if you'd like. Tales from the Loop doesn't have tactical combat, but your GM may want to use a map for general location hopping. You can also upload a character portrait if you'd like. The next step you'll take here is to fill out your kid's drive. You can select from the drop-down, randomize, or come up with one on your own. But any way you go about it, make sure that your drive is something that describes why your kid would be interested in stepping away from their normal everyday lives to go solve these potentially dangerous mysteries. Next up is your kid's anchor, or the person that your kid finds safety and comfort in. This person will be the one that your kid will go to ask for advice, cry on their shoulder, or just cool down from a wild day. Your kid's problem is something that they're having to deal with in everyday life that might not be known to the rest of the kids in the party. Something that might not affect them all the time, but might be a difficult subject to talk about for them. This will be useful for your GM if they'd like to add a bit more drama into your game. Your kids' pride is up next. This is your kid's personal point of pride that through it all, they can always fall back on to pump them up and make them feel good. Next is personally my favorite part, changing your kids' favorite song. Now, technically this has no mechanical effect in the game, but it goes a long way in helping flesh out your kids' personality. Make sure it's a song from the 80s or prior and try to pick it based on what they think they'd be listening to when they crank the volume up on their TV, Walkman, or boombox. The next thing on the character sheet is going to be relationships. The game asks you to have some sort of relationship identifier with each other player in the game. Maybe another player is your younger sibling, or perhaps you have a crush on another player's character. You and another player's character could even barely know each other, and you're looking forward to getting to know them a little bit better. Try to make sure that any relationship you do have with other players isn't antagonistic, as none of the kids should really be enemies of each other. But it can sometimes be fun to have some tension in the group. Love, envy, or even mistrust. Next up is your hideout. This is some location that you should be able to choose with the other kids. This should feel safe and away from other NPCs. This could be something like a treehouse, or maybe a location under a bridge. Something simple like that. In the next area under description, you can add your own personal physical description or even a little about your kids' background here if you want to dive a little bit more into a personalized experience. Flipping the public description toggle will let the other players see this section if they click on your player's portrait on the main screen in the game. Once that's all done, click on the Stats tab up top. This will bring you to the Attributes and Skills area. The top 4 stats, body, tech, heart, and mind, are your attributes for this game. Your kids' age will determine how many points you can spread around between the 4, 5 being the max you can place into any one attribute. Next up, we're going to spread out our skill points. In Tales from the Loop, everyone will have 10 points to distribute here no matter their choices. But depending on the 3 key skills that we marked at the start of character creation, you'll be able to place up to 3 points in each of those particular skills. Anything that wasn't a key skill for your type of kid that you chose can only have a single point placed into it. In order to add a point, just click the skill you want to add to, then edit the skill value to your liking. Going back up to the top, we can move on to equipment. Tales from the Loop rarely uses equipment, but if you ever need to add or create an item in game, you can come here and just add one. What is really important in this game is your kid's iconic item. You can choose, randomize, or come up with your own here if you'd like. Just try to make it seem like something that could come in handy at some point, and also something that matches your personality. You can go ahead and click the white check mark at the bottom to save all of your changes, and you've made your character sheet. A quick addition here. At the end of every session, your kid will have the chance to gain experience. The GM will read 5 questions aloud, and if you answer yes to any of these questions, you'll gain 1 experience point. You can then spend 5 experience points to increase any skill by 1 to a max of 5. This will all take place before or after the session, not during play. And that's it. So go grab your Return of the Jedi lightsaber replica, your red Back to the Future vest, and your Cyndi Lauper cassette tape, because it's time to jump back to the 80s and solve some mysteries. Now that you've got your character created, why don't you hop on over and check out how to actually play the game using our Tales from the Loop core mechanics tutorial. Or maybe you want to know a little more about the world you're about to jump into. Don't worry, we got you covered there too with our setting and story video. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Leave a comment letting me know what your favorite 80s song is, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya! Never gonna get you up, never